Okay, so we kind of left off. We were going to remove these underlines. So going to Atom, we're going to use the text decoration code under nav lia to get rid of those. So right here, push return, text, start putting that in there, text decoration, and then let's do none. And that should automatically do Command S to save and refresh that, and then we took off the underlines. So now we're going to adjust some of the spacing around the navigation links. So if we do control click on this window and push inspect in Chrome, you have to be in Chrome to do this, but we can actually go in our code and select things. So let's go into the, let's see, header, nav, UL. And then you can see all the different parts of your code and how that works. So as you can see, X out of this, these are actually slightly to the right. They're not true center. And so we're actually going to do another control click, inspect. If we want to get those centered perfectly, we'll do styling to the UL in the spreadsheet. So we'll add padding left to the UL and the nav. So let's go here, nav, UL. Here's the UL, so we can actually do padding. You can actually, I think you can type it in here. Maybe not. Oh, here, yeah, you click on that, and then padding. Let's just experiment in the browser. Left, and let's make it 0 pixels. So 0px. And did that fix it? Now everything looks to be in the middle, actually. Now let's add a padding bottom to the UL of 5 pixels. So padding dash bottom space 5px. And that actually makes a little space here, so it's not totally against it. Okay, get more space under the nav item. And let's get rid of the white space under the navigation now, and we'll do this with the margin on the UL. So return margin dash bottom 0 pixels, and that gets rid of the bottom margin that was showing up there. And now that's gone. Let's talk about the width now. We want the navigation container to always be 100% of the width of the page. So let's go ahead and copy these things that actually Command C from this window here and actually bring it into Atom. And we want to put it on the nav UL. So it's not actually in here. We were just doing that in our developer window. So we just kind of want to bring these in. Oops. What just happened there? Gosh. Kind of having some goofy things happen here, but Command S that, and then we go in here and we refresh that. It'll actually be permanent now. That's actually in there now. So that's just one way of doing it if you want to work within the browser window, within the inspector window. Instead of having to go back and forth from Atom to Chrome, you can just do it right there in Chrome. Figure out what works. You can even experiment with it and then bring it into Atom once you get it kind of dialed in. So I was just kind of showing you that. So we're going to talk about the width. We want the navigation container to always take up 100% of the width of the screen, depending, whether that's a mobile device or a tablet or whatever. So let's set the width of the nav to 100%. So nav width, so, and then 100%. Command S that. We could also make it 100 pixels just to see what this would do. So px instead, and let's just do a little experiment. See, now it's 100 pixels wide. So that's not actually what we want. We don't want that. So let's go back in and make this 100%. Save that. Let's make our navigation fixed to the top of the page. It's kind of a neat look. So under the navigation selector in the CSS style sheet, add position fixed. Position fixed. Command S that to save it. And there we go. No matter what we do, that navigation doesn't go anywhere. It stays right up there. A lot of websites do that. That's how they do it. So now if you scroll down, you can see our navigation always stays within the view. If we take the width out after adding in position fixed, it'll look goofy. So we need to put the width in there if we want to use position fixed. So let's add in some space in between the list items on the navigation. So to do that, make a selector in the CSS that is nav li, just to target the list items specifically, and then add a padding bottom of 15 pixels. 15px. And as that, go into Chrome and refresh. So we have some nice spacing here now. That looks better. It's not so close together. Now let's start styling other elements on the page, starting with the first image. So to target that CSS, you have to put the pound sign since it's an ID, because we did put an ID on this section here, the first image section. If we go into our HTML, you can see our first section here, and it does have an ID of doggy in it. So in order to get at that, we have to do the doggy. If we want to get to the image, we have to do pound, because that's how you call out an ID, and then image, and then open that up. And let's see, what are we going to do? We're going to make the width of the image 50% of our browser window. Now let's center our image. If we always want it to be centered, we need to set the margin left and right to auto. So margin left, auto, oops, auto, margin right, oops, margin right, auto, and then command S that. We also need to make it a block element, so type this in, display block. Sometimes you have to add this in if you want it to actually work. Display block to get the width, and set the width to get the margins to work correctly. And hopefully this is going to work. Okay, yeah. And it stretched our image out because we sized it down. But I mean, if we make our browser window smaller, he'll get more clear. But since it was kind of a small image to begin with, it does get pixelated. So that's something to watch out for. I think I made this 250 by 250 pixels, and obviously it's getting to be a lot bigger, but it's staying in the middle, which is good. And then let's keep going. What are we doing now? Let's go ahead and add that to the other image as well. So think about how you can target the other image. It's in the section kitty, so we'd have to call out kitty, or the ID of kitty on this section. So, and then image. So to get to that, we'll have to do the same thing we did before, just slightly different. And then we'll just copy paste all this because we want the same styling on it. Command S that. Go back into Chrome, refresh, and you can see the kitty has been centered, and it sizes up with the browser window once it gets larger. And you can, actually center all the text on the page is not a bad idea. So let's put a footer selector in the CSS and then put a text-align center on it as well. So footer, which is a tag in the HTML right here. So we're going to target that. Text-align, which will actually, and then center, and that'll actually get all the text within the P, which is actually a paragraph right there. But then we want to save that. And we can see, in Chrome, if we refresh this, it should center our P tags. So that's about as far as we're going to go with the CSS in class. Now, there's a lot more you can do with CSS. There's a lot more, so much more you can do. And like, obviously, when you style your own personal project, I want 2 pages. I want, certain things. Make sure you read over the project worksheet for that, because that could change from year to year. But definitely, try and make it look clean. Try and make it look nice. Try and make the images not blurry. I mean, some of mine are kind of blurry, so that's not good. But this is just a demo, so yours needs to be more polished, obviously. You can change the text type in here as well. I could show you really quick if you go to Google fonts, I believe. And then maybe I like this one. Maybe I like this style. And I can actually bring this into my style. Let's see here. So we actually put this in the link, the head section, I believe. So to embed font, copy the code into the head section of your HTML. So let's go into Atom really quick. Index, the head section is right here. So let's put it underneath the style sheet link. We'll put all this in here, Command S that. We might want to kind of clean this up a little bit just to make it nested within the head element. Oops, god dang it. Just want to put them all on the same line so it's nice and neat. And Command S that, and then there's another part to this. Oops, where am I at? Gosh. And then we want to add this into the rules, font family, Roboto, sans serif, into the CSS document. So we can put that. I'm going to put it up at the top. Ugh, I hate doing that. Return, Command V. Actually, we want to put that on all the maybe on all the P tags. And S that, and then actually maybe let's put it on the body tag, because that'll get everything within the body that is text, basically the P tags, the H, whatever. And see how everything has changed to Roboto. So I do want you to change the text. You can use Google Fonts. You can also just use, you can look it up, find code online, copy paste it in. And also ask me in class if you have any questions. I'll try and help you as best I can. I actually used to build websites using HTML and CSS, but that didn't last long because I ended up switching to WordPress and Wix and Squarespace. So those are actually better tools for today. But it's good to do these exercises to learn how HTML, CSS works and how the web actually is working behind the scenes.